So this is just going to be the new opener for my video, because this is how I start every single video now. Just tilting someone that got injured in my lineup. One slate. One slate. Josh Giddey, injured. One slate. King center Domantas Sabonis had 19 points and 14 rebounds in tonight's loss, but he sat out the last 17 plus minutes. Coach Mike Brown says there's no injury issue. Just liked what he saw from Holmes and Metu. Ida Low-owned Sabonis had 45 fantasy points early on in the third quarter. Or came back. Slate. One slate. How about NFL? How about my main slate over and it started? Injury, first plays of the game. And it's just so incredibly tilting. One slate. Us. All over the Chiefs stack. Let me tell you. Kelsey had a touchdown called back, and Juju had a touchdown called back. It should have been an even better day for this extremely low-owned Chiefs stack. But McCole Hardman has to go for 17 rushing touchdowns too. When you had the Kelsey touchdown called back, Hardman rushing touchdown. When you had the Juju Smith-Schuster touchdown called back, Hardman rushing touchdown right after. And if St. Brown does not get injured on the first play of the game here, I'm probably winning this GPP. So again, I say, one slate. One slate. One slate. Is it too much to ask? Is it? Is it too much to ask? How about the let's recap the early slate. How about the early slate, guys? How about me finally fading Anthony Davis? Had him a core building block last couple of games for the Lakers. No, he busts first game. Second game, he gets injured, misses the whole third quarter. I can't deal with AD again. How about 10 steals and blocks for Anthony Davis and an absolute smash when I finally fade? Not only are we asking for one slate, or confirmation. No one runs worse. I mean, to be honest, guys, let's just be real. I'm not going to lie. When the Amon-Ra St. Brown injury happened, I actually was like really, really upset. I was furious because that was like $300-$400 I thought was just done. I still cashed with an injury to a 7K player in GPPs because my Chiefs stack smashed. But I'm tired of it, man. Like, I don't like starting my videos like this. Like, it's unreal. It's like, I don't even know if I can laugh it off at this point. It's just like, can I just please have one slate? Please. All right, so let's talk about this 8-game slate really quick, though. Again, if you guys are looking for in-depth content, make sure to check out my Patreon link down below. If we can avoid injuries, we can do really good. But we're just getting injuries every single night. And then Prize Picks, they are the sponsor. Make sure to use the code DKDFS for a 100% match up to $100. I also had Amon-Ra St. Brown over reception. So it was just like, I literally just finished making my NBA content. I finished the NFL live stream. I just finished making my NBA content. I was getting ready to sit down, watch some football, enjoy. Literally the first thing I see is Amon-Ra St. Brown rule out. And I'm just like, okay, well, screw it. This day's over. Like, come on, right? And then the Giddey injury, and don't talk about how Draftkings was down for a while. It's just a stress. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to get Giddey in. I was able to get Giddey in last second. Giddey gets injured. Sabonis once again, been another long day. If you guys missed the video the previous night too, so I played Jalen Smith. I just want, for those that, again, Sunday, not a lot of people play NBA DFS. I want to recap for those that are watching today and missed the video that I uploaded for Sunday's slate. So I played Jalen Smith on Friday, all right? Played Jalen Smith on Friday. He gets benched and then injured. An absolute massive bust in 7 minutes. So again, one slate. Again, he got injured. He had a mouth injury. For some reason, couldn't return. The next day, so I'm thinking, all right, I'm going back to Jalen Smith with low ownership. I ended up having to move a couple things around before lock. Ended up pivoting off of him. He went for 50 fantasy points. Jalen Smith went for 50 fantasy points when I made that late pivot. But the day before, benched and injured for me. Just giving you guys more proof, right? Just laying out all the information. Unbelievable. It's now been, I haven't fully kept count, but I think it's around 18 to 20 injuries for me the last 2 weeks, and I'm a one lineup player. It's been over an injury a day, which is absolutely insane. So I just would like to break that streak. That's all I'm asking. I would like to break that streak for no injuries and no foul trouble. That's all. Not too much to ask, right? Okay, so Indiana and Philadelphia. I forgot if this game was on the slate. I hate Rick Carlisle so much. I literally hate him so much. Just this rotation. All right, Tyrese Halliburton, probably the only guy you can trust. Assuming he doesn't get benched or in foul trouble, he should probably play, somewhere around 35 minutes. Is their clear go-to guy. Now, there is some blowout risk. I know Philadelphia is 0-3, but they're very clearly the better team here. So there is some blowout risk here for the Pacers. But in a competitive game, Halliburton is the one guy that I trust. Benedict Mathurin has been playing phenomenal off the bench. 28, 31 minutes. He has shot extremely, extremely well. I'm fine for him for GPPs. I do think he'll be a bit overowned. People will probably chase. I think he's a great player. I don't think he's going to continue to shoot this well, though. He has shot extremely well going in the last couple games of the preseason and now into the regular season. So I think he's in play for tournaments. No idea how many minutes he's going to play, though. Again, he's played about 30 minutes, but who knows with Rick Carlisle? But he healed. He played 16 minutes last game. He could play 30 minutes tonight or tomorrow. He could play 10. Who knows? Jalen Smith. This is what I'm talking about, right? Make him a core play here against the Spurs. Benched and injured. The literal very next day, 50 bomb. A 50 bomb. The very next day. This big rotation is just the biggest headache I've ever... It gives me a headache right now talking about this rotation. They started Terry Taylor. Could be Isaiah Jackson. Isaiah Jackson's a really good point per minute guy, but he's so foul prone, and now he's been going up against Joel Embiid. I think there's risk there. Goga Bitadze, another great point per minute guy. He absolutely smashed last slate, but he is also very prone to foul trouble. So Jackson and Goga definitely in play for tournaments. Again, foul issues. Terry Taylor, undersized, big. I think I'd rather take a shot on Goga or Jackson. I think his ceiling's a bit higher. Aaron Naismith went in the starting lineup. He played 23 minutes. He could start again. He could get a DNP tomorrow. I couldn't tell you. Andrew Nembhard got a DNP first game, then played 30 minutes, then only played 9 minutes. Your guess is as good as mine here. So, this Pacers team, they're going to ride the hot hand. Who knows? Guys with foul issues going up against Joel Embiid. I'm not looking forward to it. Whatever I do here, just do the opposite. If I play one of Jalen Smith, Isaiah Jackson, or Goga Bitadze, instantly X them out and go for the other option. Okay? So I'm just telling you guys straight up. Whichever one I go to here, whichever Pacers big that I go to, do not play them. Warning you, do not. The 76ers, Embiid and Harden, that's where the offense is. Embiid, smash matchup here. The only real risk thing is potential blowout, but Embiid looks good. Harden has played pretty well this season. Besides last game, we shot 4 of 18, but they're playing Harden's playing 40 minutes a night. This is the regular season. He's playing 40 minutes. Like, this is not playoffs. But Doc Rivers is playing him 40 minutes a night. So, I mean, the top two guys for Philly are definitely in play. Maxey and Harris both have a ceiling. Maxey a bit scoring independent. We saw the floor from him 2 games ago when he was massive chalk. But he's also a guy that has a very high ceiling when he is making his shots. And then Tobias Harris is kind of just there in the mid-range. He'll play mid-30s minutes. He'll probably get you somewhere around 25 to 30 fantasy points. He's a fair play. I don't know if I trust anything else here. The backup center rotation's been a mess with Reed and Harrell. Melton has really struggled. I mean, the minutes have been okay for D'Anthony Melton, so I guess in a large field tournament, sure. I don't know if it's worth it to go to PJ Tucker. I mean, the minutes are there, but he's really not doing a ton. So that's it for the 76ers. Moving on to Toronto and Miami. So Scotty Barnes, don't think he's going to be available for this game. We'll see about Chris Boucher, who's been missed the first 3 games so far. So with Scotty Barnes out, I would think they just move Precious Achiuwa into the starting lineup because that's kind of what they did last year, and then they started a little bit of a bigger lineup. But we'll see. They can do a lot of different things. I guess they could go Koloko. They could go a bit small. Maybe throw like a Banton or Malachi Flynn in there. So we'll see. But yeah, tough match pair against Miami. But Siakam, Van Fleet, 8-7 and 8-6. I think Siakam would be the guy that I'd look to. He's played extremely well this season. A guy that, if he can stay out of foul trouble, has a very high floor and high ceiling. Played 40 minutes last game. So I think Siakam probably my favorite option there. OG and Gary Trent are both fair plays. These guys should see a little bit more usage without Scotty Barnes. They're both fine in the mid-range. Again, Achiuwa, if he starts, you can go to him. Revenge game narrative there. If Boucher's available, we can consider him. I don't really know about his bench rotation, so we'll probably mainly be focusing on the starters there for Toronto. Moving on to Miami. Jimmy Butler, still overpriced. Not for me. Bam Adebayo has been awful to start the year. 25, 38, and 18 fantasy points. He's playing like huge minutes too. Maybe this is his get-right spot. He is only 7K, which does feel a bit underpriced. Tyler Hero, probably my favorite option. If you played him last slate, you got insanely unlucky. He got in massive foul trouble, lost huge minutes, only played 22 minutes. Previous games, 36 and 34. So Hero, probably my preferred option. Lowry, he's pretty dusty at this point of his career, but he's still playing big minutes, so he's a fair option there in the mid-range as well. And then no Martin, he's going to be suspended for this game. So he could do a couple things. He could start a bit of a smaller lineup, maybe throw a guy like Max Strus in there. Maybe like they could go to like a Highsmith, I guess, in the starting lineup. We'll see. Strus is the guy that does have a ceiling, but is relatively scoring independent. He has been doing a better job of getting some of those peripheral stats. So we'll keep an eye on the starting lineup there for Miami. Orlando and New York. So the thing I'll mention here about Orlando is they're running a very, very tight rotation. Like their main 4 guys, Paolo Banchero, Carter Jr., Cole Anthony, and Franz Wagner are playing huge, huge minutes. Now, matchup against the Knicks, not necessarily the best, but hey, they're playing big, big minutes. So Paolo Banchero has not shot well last couple games, 6 of 18, 6 of 19, but the usage is still there. I'm totally fine if you want to go up to him. I think my favorite option would be Carter Jr., 33, 33, and 35 minutes. And he went for double-double last game. He's very involved offensively, does get a boost when he does play the 5. Cole Anthony, this guy causes me so much pain over the last little over a year. He's just boom or bust, I feel like. Now, he did go for 14, 9, and 6. Don't think you can expect that kind of stat line again from Cole Anthony, but he should play decent minutes. It's just, God, this guy's such a frustrating roster. Franz Wagner at 6'1", kind of just indifferent on him. I think the ceiling isn't as high, playing alongside guys like Carter Jr. and Banchero, but still a solid NBA player. Terrence Ross is also playing huge minutes too, 32, 35, and 35 minutes. He's relatively scoring dependent, but if he gets a shot going like he did last game, the ceiling is clearly there. Then off the bench, I don't really think I can get to anyone. I mean, the one guy I think is in play would probably be Bull. 18, 12, and 15 minutes. We know Bull's decent point per minute guy. Like, he's probably the guy I would take the shot on off the bench if I had to pick one. Moving on to the Knicks. So the Knicks, we know, also run a relatively tight rotation. Blowout last game, so don't put too much emphasis into those minutes. But Randall, Barrett, Brunson, these guys should play a lot. I think Brunson probably the easiest to get to since he's the cheapest at 6.8K. But Barrett, Randall, both have a ceiling. We saw the big game from Randall game 1. Barrett, if he knocks down his shots, does have a pretty high ceiling as well. So the big 3 definitely in play. Mitchell Robinson, if you roster this guy consistently, you will lose years off your life. I'm just telling you that. He's so boom or bust. He's always in foul trouble. And now he's got Hartenstein behind him. So Mitchell Robinson, you can always take a shot at him for tournaments. Hartenstein has been getting decent minutes because, to no surprise, Mitchell Robinson's been in foul trouble. So the 2 Knicks centers are in play for GPPs. Fournier, I'll pass on. Quickly had a really good game in a blowout, but I guess he's okay. I mean, he played 17 minutes, start 0 of 6 game 1. So if we're going to get close to 20 minutes and quickly off the bench, I actually think he's a decent GPP play. Boston, Chicago, another team that's running a very tight rotation for Boston. They're just playing their starters huge minutes. Tatum and Brown are playing like 40 minutes a night. I'm not scared of the Bulls defensively, so I think both Boston stars look good with Tatum and Brown. I actually think I would give the edge here to Jaylen Brown since he's 8.5 and Tatum is 9.9. Marcus Smart also playing pretty big minutes, 37 minutes last game. Not a guy that is going to do a ton offensively, but probably has a relatively high floor if he continues to play these type of minutes. So I'm okay with Smart. Horford has been awful to start the year. He is only 5'4", though, played 34 minutes last game. I think he's in play for tournaments. Again, though, he's been really bad to start the year. Malcolm Brogdon is 4.9K. Just in the minutes, like we should be playing Malcolm Brogdon more, but they're just not, it's a little bit annoying. I'm not going to lie. Derek White had a huge game last game. I would say that was an outlier. He shot 10 of 17, but he should start and he should probably play somewhere around 25-ish minutes, maybe a bit more if he plays well like he did last game against Orlando. And then, I mean, Grant Williams, he's kind of like a PJ Tucker-esque. He's had decent games, back-to-back games, but I think those are a bit of outliers as well. So I don't know if it's necessary to go there. Moving on to Chicago, another team that we know their rotation. So these last 4 teams we talked about, thank you. Like the Magic, the Knicks, the Celtics, the Bulls. They make it easy on us DFS players. Not looking at you, Rick Carlisle, Richard. But yeah, the Bulls, we know what's going to happen. DeRozan, Levine, Vooch are going to play big minutes. None of them really stand out at their respective price points, but in a competitive game, probably one of those guys is a good game. Good luck trying to figure out which one's going to be. Kind of like I talked about today with the Minnesota guys and with the Pelicans guys, right? It's going to be tough when those teams are healthy. Try to nail down who it's going to be on a night-to-night basis. Below that, I don't really think there's anything else I want to go to. Io a 5-1, I'll pass on with Levine back. I mean, Drummond's getting the backup 5 minutes. He can always have a good game, but I mean, the minutes are kind of capped unless Vooch gets in some foul trouble. There's just nothing really else here for me. All right, Brooklyn and Memphis. This is a game that I do like here. This game should be played at a fast pace. So the big 3 for Brooklyn all in play with KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons. I actually think Ben Simmons is my favorite option of the 3. He's only 6.6K. He should play probably over 30 minutes, assuming he stays out of foul trouble. Now, I will mention Ben Simmons has been in foul trouble a lot recently. So that is, something you'll probably have to deal with. But Simmons at 6'6", if he stays out of foul trouble, is a solid option. KD and Kyrie are a bit pricey, but the ceiling is massive with both them. Nick Claxton has played very well through 2 games, 25 and 34 minutes. 5.9K, I think, is a fair price point for him. I don't think we can expect a double-double every game from him, but he has played well. So he's viable. You got Joe Harris back, but he's scoring dependent. Royce O'Neal is playing huge minutes right now, 34 and 39 minutes. I'm not a big fan of playing Royce O'Neal, but if he's going to continue to play like close to 40 minutes a game, then yeah, you can consider him. And that's probably about it for Brooklyn. On the Memphis side, I'm still on tilt mode from that last game when I pivoted on to Desmond Bane, and they got blown out by 40. Dylan Brooks is questionable. If he misses, it's going to be a pretty big boost to Bane and Ja Morant, where that would be where the offense would run through. Again, Ja had a bad game last game. They got destroyed. Desmond Bane, I guess, will continue to shoot 5% from the field for the rest of the game. I also took his over PRA on Prize Picks last game. The over was 25.5. I believe he had, 22 or 23? And he would have easily hit, but they were down by 40 and never saw a fourth quarter minute. So, not tilted at all about that. No way. If Brooks misses, you'll see John Conchar in the starting lineup, who I also pivoted to last slate, went for 7 fantasy points in 20 minutes. But the previous 2 games where I did not play John Conchar, 35 and 32 fantasy points. So, very, very happy for John Conchar. Not tilted at all from last game. No way. Not me. I don't tilt. That's not me. That's another DK. We're all good vibes here. Good vibes, and we run amazing. There's no bad luck here. We get extremely lucky every single day. We don't tilt. Like I said, that's not me. But yeah, so going over the rest of the Memphis Grizzlies, Steven Adams should play probably close to 30 minutes. He's kind of just there for me. Santa Claus Aldama finally had a bad game, but when he was chalk, he would break the slate. So he should probably play close to 30 minutes again if it stays competitive. Off the bench, they're not really giving anyone off the bench huge minutes. Clark's minutes have been down. I mean, Tyus Jones, there's no Dylan Brooks. I guess you can, throw him in the mix. He can play some alongside Ja. So that is going to be Memphis. If Brooks plays, it takes Conchar out of play, and it's downgrade to guys like Ja and Bane. San Antonio and Minnesota. So this game does have a bit of blowout risk, but if this game stays competitive, definitely has a ceiling. The Spurs, I think, are all still a little bit too cheap. Keldon Johnson's their go-to guy, 6.9K. He should play, low 30s minutes, but I'm still fine paying that price point for him. Jakob Poeltl, if he stays out of foul trouble, would assume about 30 minutes as well. But there is some foul concerns going up against guys like Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns. Devin Vassell still feels too cheap here at 5'4", 34 minutes now, back-to-back games. He's a little scoring dependent. He has gone for 5 boards, 4 assists, then 4 boards and 3 assists, but still like Devin Vassell there. I think he'll be popular. And Trey Jones, the minutes kind of fluctuated for him. So 24 minutes here, then 35, then 30. If we're going to continue to get around 30 minutes from him, I still think he's a solid play there at that price. The rest of the Spurs are just tournament plays. Josh Primo, 4-3. His minutes kind of been a little bit up and down. The big rotation, you did see Zach Collins as the backup big the first couple games. Then you saw Gorgie Jang enter the rotation. So, I'll say this. If I knew Zach Collins was just going to get all the backup 5 minutes, I would actually really like him at 3-4. But I'm worried because we saw Dusty Gorgie Jang enter the rotation and play 13 minutes. So that's a concern there with the backup big rotation there for Minnesota. So Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, and D'Lo. This is what I'm talking about, right? It's going to be hard to nail down on a night-to-night basis who's going to have the good game. I think, Cat at 9-2 has been a little bit quiet, to be honest. 29, 38, and 33 fantasy points. He might be my favorite just because he's kind of been struggling a bit. Gobert's done very well. He's eating rebounds right now. 16, 23, and 15 rebounds. Anthony Edwards had a really nice game last game. He's only 7.9K. And then D'Angelo Russell, 7.4. Again, it has a ceiling too. So it's just tricky, right? It's tricky with those 4. For tournaments, I'll probably look to whoever's going to be the lowest owned, which might be Karl-Anthony Towns based on the first 3 games. The rest of Minnesota, McDaniel should play big minutes, but he feels priced about right. I'll still mention Jalen Noel, right? He's going to come off the bench and he's going to chuck. He played 24 minutes last game. I like him for GPPs. I think he's a pretty decent value play. So, yeah, that is going to be Minnesota. Last couple games here, we got Utah and Houston. And this might be the game of the slate. I asked on Twitter for someone to explain the Utah Jazz to me like I'm a 5-year-old because I have no idea what's going on here. I literally thought this team would be the worst team in the league, and they're undefeated. And they've beaten good teams, too. It's not like they're beating the basement of the NBA. They've beaten, the Nuggets, the Pelicans, and the T-Wolves, I think? They're beating really good teams. So, again, I guess Lauri Markkanen for MVP. He's the best player to ever touch the court. 50 fantasy points now, back-to-back games. He did have overtime in back-to-back games, but he has been absolutely phenomenal, and now he gets a great matchup here against Houston. The 2 guards in Conley and Clarkson, they should both play low 30s minutes. Conley probably a little bit of a higher floor, and then Clarkson probably has a little bit of a higher ceiling. So both the guards are in play. Sexton not playing as many minutes. He's only kind of capped around 20, so probably can't go there. Would just rather go to Clarkson or Conley for an extra 10 minutes. Kelly Olynyk, if he stays out of foul trouble, should play big minutes. 35 and 37, again, those were in overtime, but still over 30 minutes if we're not counting overtime. So I like Kelly Olynyk here quite a bit here. Like I said, great matchup. Jared Vanderbilt, if he can stay out of foul trouble, he's too cheap, but he's been in foul trouble every single game, losing big minutes because of it, but he's only 4.7K. I think that could be worth the risk. Walker Kessler, if Kelly O gets in foul trouble, he could see more minutes, but he's right now probably playing around 20 minutes. I think he's an okay play. Malik Beasley did see his minutes cut to 21 last game after playing 30 and 25 previous games, but I still think he's viable. So, to be honest, there is a lot to like here for Utah, right? You got a great matchup against Houston. Game should stay competitive. Yeah, I like the Jazz a lot. That's really weird for me to say. On the opposite side, you know what I'm going to say here. I've been saying this since the preseason. Whenever I see the Rockets on a DFS slate, it puts a big smile on my face because this team plays fast. This team plays no defense. If the game stays competitive, this game has all the makeup for a shootout. So I like both guards quite a bit here, Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. I think Kevin Porter Jr. a little bit of a higher floor. Jalen Green, when he really gets going, probably has a bit of a higher ceiling, but won't do as much of the peripheral stats. But yeah, I think both guards look really, really good. Jabari Smith is 6.2K. He should see over 30 minutes if he stays out of foul trouble, kind of indifferent on him. My boy Sengun most likely continues to come off the bench. probably sees about 25 minutes or so. Still firmly in play for GPPs. Don't know if I can fire him up in an optimal build because the minutes are kind of being capped right now. They did start Usman Garuba over my boy Sengun last game, and Usman Garuba is 3.5K. He went for 26 fantasy points in 25 minutes. I'm not sure if we get 25 minutes again from Garuba. I'll just say that. So I would think this is a game where they want to play Sengun a bit more, right? Last game, like you had Garuba at times on Giannis. Now they get the Jazz, so it's like, do we necessarily need Garuba out there for a ton of minutes? I don't know. So Garuba's fine, but I don't know if we see 25 minutes again from him. Eric Gordon is back, so that makes Tari Eason way riskier. I think he will lose minutes. KJ Martin should move to the bench as well at 4.1. So Eric Gordon, I mean, they're playing in big minutes, so I think he's a fair value play. Again, he's relatively scoring dependent, but yeah, a lot to like here for Houston. And rounding it out with Denver and Portland. So Denver, Jokic, 10-9, good spend up. A guy that has triple-double upside. He played 39 minutes last game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, so I like Jokic if we can afford him. The rest of the Nuggets, no one really stands out with Murray, Gordon, MPJ. If I had to pick one, it would be MPJ because he's the cheapest. KCP's price is coming up. I mean, he's playing big minutes, but he's scoring dependent. Bruce Brown feels spiced about right. Bones Highland's 4-1. There's just nothing really else besides Jokic that I like. And finally, the Portland Trailblazers. So Damian Lillard, back-to-back really solid games. Had a game winner there against the Lakers. He's 9.5K. Fine tournament play. I don't know if I can pull the trigger on him in a cash game setting. My boy, Yusuf Nurkic, if he can stay out of foul trouble, he's probably going to play a lot this game just because I think Jokic will absolutely feast against Drew Eubanks. Now, the issue is Nurkic is foul prone, and now he's going up against Jokic, who's I don't like targeting centers. There's two centers I really don't like targeting centers against. That's going to be Embiid and Jokic. Both are really, really good at drawing fouls. And when you have a foul-prone guy in the Bosnian Beast, my boy Nurkic, makes it risky. So I'm definitely a bit concerned, but if he can stay out of foul trouble, do like his ceiling. The other starters with Simons, Grant, and Hart. I think Hart is probably the safest. He's also the cheapest. Simons and Grant do have a ceiling, but a little bit riskier. Not doing as many of the peripheral stats as Josh Hart is. And Justice Winslow, really the only guy that's seeing consistent minutes off the bench, should see mid-20s. I think he's a fair value. If you think that Nurkic gets in foul trouble, yes, you can take a shot on a guy like Drew Eubanks. But I think he'll get absolutely abused out there by Nikola Jokic. So, yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the video. And if you have been enjoying the content, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I'll end it with this. All I ask, one slate.